What's up? I'm Wicked, and today I'd like to talk to you about alignment. In my last video, we discussed manifesting, but the truth is the absolute best way to manifest is from a state of alignment. So, what is alignment? To be in alignment is to walk your own authentic path. Before we arrive here, we each set destinies for ourselves. Now, I'm not a big believer that destiny has to be followed down to a T, but rather, I think there are certain things that we have to do or interact with, certain people that we're meant to cross paths with, and just in general, certain experiences we decide to have to further our soul's evolution and to heal the collective consciousness. So to be in alignment is to be awakened to the plans of your higher self. We all come here with our own unique missions and purposes, and the higher self knows the best route to get there. To be in alignment is to walk hand in hand with the universe. You recognize not only the role that you play, but the roles of other beings and circumstances as well. It is to be mindful, to hold a higher level of consciousness. This is probably a good time to mention that higher consciousness has nothing to do with your SAT scores. Higher consciousness is a different type of intelligence, much closer to emotional intelligence, because it is all about our ability to tap into the divine intelligence within all of us. It's the ability to tap into the creator of the all. So, that's alignment. Feeling any clearer? At this point, you're probably trying to digest everything that I've been saying, and I'm betting that it all feels a little bit intangible. It's kind of like, that sounds great, but how is it going to help me, right? I have to joke a little bit because when I reached this point in spirituality, being a Virgo and inclined towards a perfectionist mentality, the idea of getting into alignment seemed absolutely daunting, like the hardest project that I'd ever have to do. But soon I started to realize what I'm hoping you guys will pick up much quicker than I did, and that is alignment is ease. Like I said, it's to be tapped into the creator of the all, the infinite flow. The flow of the universe is peaceful and certain. It trusts within itself. There is no perfectionism and no mastery. There is only now. And the same is true with alignment. One of the quickest ways to get into alignment is to be present in the moment and to find a way to be happy about it regardless of the details. The key to this is detachment. This is taking the path of higher consciousness and trusting that everything will work out for you, even if you don't see how yet, even if the situation sucks. It's all about your ability to put faith in the universe and its ability to get you to a better place. So, back to the how. How do you get into alignment? Feel better. Do whatever you can to get yourself into a positive mood. If you're feeling too negative for positive, just aim for neutral. Release that resistance. Don't overcomplicate this. It really is all about feeling good. Once you learn how to get yourself into a positive place at will, you can start bringing other subjects into that vortex with you, like your career, love life, relationships, family, whatever it is that you need to focus on. So now that you know how to get into alignment, how do you know when you've actually done it? How can you really tell when you're in alignment? Well, you have your own internal guidance system already programmed into you, your emotions. Now, understand that your higher self is always in high vibrational energies. It cannot meet you in the low vibrational ones. So the better you feel, the closer you are to your higher self. And the opposite rings true as well. The worse you feel, the further you are from your higher self, meaning the two of you are at a dissonance because you're not on the same wavelength. This is also why we feel that the higher self or our spirit guides don't really help us when we're in the really, really dark times. This is because they literally cannot get to us when we're in those low vibrational energies. Their frequency will not allow them to drop that low. Now, the universe can, but it takes a lot for the universe to intervene. And in truth, the cold, hard truth, even the suffering is orchestrated. The only true way to stop it is to rise above it now. You don't wait for the situation to get better. You don't wait for yourself to feel better. You decide to feel better. Understand this. Your thoughts dictate your emotions. Your emotions dictate your vibrational frequency to the universe. Your frequency to the universe dictates what you will attract back to you and into your life. The basics of energy work are this. You can only manifest energies that you already are. If you wait for your circumstances to change before you change, the circumstances will never change. You have to be the change you wish to see in your experience. There really is no other way. Happiness is a choice. so too is depression. Now, of course, there are many external factors that can cause depression, and happiness as well. But no one treating their depression is ever going to see signs of improvement until they actually make the decision to be happy. But in truth, this is kind of a bad example because the opposite of depression isn't happiness, it's purpose. But as a longtime struggler with and survivor of depression, I will do a video specifically on depression and how it relates to spirituality in the near future to come. This is where I'll probably start getting into some of my crazy theories about non-corporeal energies, so stay tuned, you're not going to want to miss that. But anyway, back to the important thing at hand. I'm going to do it all again because it's worth repeating. Your thoughts dictate your emotions. Your emotions dictate your vibrational frequency to the universe. Your frequency to the universe dictates what you will attract back to you and into your life. You need to understand how to manipulate this knowledge to your advantage. It really all comes down to what you think. There's always at least 2 ways to looking at any situation, but usually many more. So, for instance, let's say you get cheated on someone who you had previously considered to be the love of your life. You can either view it as a travesty because you just lost this so-called love of your life, or you can recognize that the true love of your life would never treat you that way and just be happy to cut that jerk away. If you take that first perspective, let's call it perspective A, you're going to be miserable until you change your perspective anyway. If you choose perspective B, you'll be happier and move on much quicker, but you'll also align with the true love of your life because your energies will be so much higher. Do not underestimate the frequency of self-respect because it speaks big messages to the universe. Like, for instance, I'm ready to accept the love that I deserve and I won't settle for less. Frequency changes like this, energetic shifts that start within the self, make for big waves in your conscious life. This seems like a good time to mention that you standing in the vibration of you being as you can possibly manage is one of the most powerful stances that you can take. Even higher than love, even higher than enlightenment, there is the vibration of authenticity. The more you are, the closer you are to becoming your highest self. And the higher self respects itself. Recognize that we tend to keep ourselves in dead-end, low-vibe situations because of fear. We do not trust that the universe will give us better when we're in these places. This is because on some level, even a subconscious level that you're not aware of, you don't actually believe that you deserve it. We talk about shedding old belief systems a lot, and shadow work is all about penetrating that subconscious and rewriting those belief systems as well as the way the subconscious views the self. The more work you do with your higher self, the easier all of this is to do. So what happens if you fall out of alignment? Well, the human experience makes it next to impossible to be in alignment 24/7. There is just way too much stuff happening. Being human, as you're learning about all of this, you might run into some anxiety about the thought of falling out of alignment. But first, it's important for you to know that slips and falls happen. Even with years of practice, negative situations and thoughts still occur. But just because you're at a dissonance doesn't mean that the universe is going to immediately give up on you. It takes cumulative energies of intentionally walking out of sync for all of this to catch up with you. So if you fall out of alignment, you won't immediately die. Your life won't fall apart and you won't lose everything. There are special circumstances, of course, but the minor slip up in energetic control just because you've had a bad day isn't the end of the world. You can get right back into alignment whenever you're ready. But in the time before that, you might notice that things don't seem to be going your way. Being out of alignment can manifest itself in small ways, such as dropping things, traffic, other people being slow in line ahead of you, other people being late, you being late, losing things, losing your focus or train of thought. But if the situation is serious, it can also manifest itself in much bigger ways, such as serious accidents. If you're a believer that everything happens for a reason, you can understand how there are times the universe may need to intervene if you're walking seriously out of alignment. Sometimes Source really has to flip your whole life upside down to get your attention. This is what we typically call a wake-up call. So now that you know how to recognize if you're out of alignment, how do you get yourself back into alignment? Well, if you find that you've gotten out of alignment, the best thing that you can do is take a nap. Seriously, the quickest way to reset your energy is to remove resistance. When we're asleep, we have no resistance, which allows for universal flows to bring us fresh energies. If you're not in the position to sleep, the next best thing you can do is meditate. Consciously release that resistance by quieting the mind and mentally coming off of the subject so that the universe can do its work. If you can't meditate, The next step would be to manually adjust your frequency. You can do this by making the conscious decision to feel better. The quickest way to do this is to find the best, most high vibrational thing in the room and focus all of your energy into it. This can really be anything: your children, your pets, your favorite art pieces, your possessions, your passion projects. Anything that makes you feel happy, connected, and loving is going to be your quick, almost like a teleportation point into alignment. Just find something that makes you feel high vibrational and pour all of your energy into it. Choose to mindfully focus on the good things and just find your way back to center however you can. Another thing to acknowledge is that the more time you spend in alignment, the more your desires are going to change. Things that seemed appealing when you were in lower vibrational states of consciousness might seem trivial and ridiculous as your consciousness rises and your moods begin to change. The more time you spend in alignment, the more your relationship with your ego is going to change. And as the ego is responsible for identity, your idea of who you are and what you want will begin to change. But don't worry, this is a good thing. This process is going to get you so much closer to your most authentic self, your truest being. In other news, why do bad things happen when we are trying to get into alignment or when we're going through a spiritual awakening? In my last video, Manifesting 101, I discussed how the ego is going to have to fight and die several times throughout your spiritual practice. This creates a lot of what I like to call tower moments because of the tower's representation in the tarot. These tower moments occur to help you release old energies in your life, which doesn't sound so bad, but the way they manifest is usually pretty uncomfortable. Old energy can be belief systems, the releasing of which can cause for major life changes. The release of these energies can also manifest as the ending of a job, relationship, or a friendship. It could also manifest as minor or major accidents, and sometimes even darker things, depending on how far out of alignment you are, like illnesses and accidents. It seems to me that nobody in the spiritual realm really wants to pay too much attention to the negative out of fear of manifesting more of it, which I totally respect. I certainly do not want to be adding any more negativity to the world. But because of the present and limiting state of human consciousness, bad things happen. And I think it's really important for you guys to understand why, because in my experience, most of the bad things happen when you are awakening or you're expanding your soul to a new level of consciousness. And the whole love and light ideology doesn't really prepare you for any of that. These tower moments are recognizable by the fact that they're like those moments that appear when we're like, oh, the universe is testing us, right? Testing our faith, testing our commitment, testing our new identity, whichever, whatever. It doesn't matter because none of it is true. You need to know that the universe is never testing you. We are using the universe to test ourselves. You really need to know that your power in the experience lies in your perception of the experience. Recognize that the further you are away from your path, your source, your higher self, your inner being, the harder the course corrections are going to be to get you back into that alignment. Have you ever been traveling down the interstate at high speeds and suddenly realize you're just about to miss your turn, so you jerk the wheel and suddenly you're back on the right path again, right? But not without a little bit of stress, anxiety, fear, and even panic at times. It's kind of like that when we fall out of alignment and have to find our way back into it. But it can be even more potentially dangerous and definitely dramatic when the universe has to put us back into alignment on its own. Now, don't be anxious. It takes quite a bit for the universe to get to this point. As I mentioned earlier, it takes cumulative energies of intentionally walking out of sync for all of that to really catch up with you in a way that's going to be potentially dangerous. This definitely isn't the love and light side of spirituality, but this is the reality of karma. But you need to know that if you fall out of alignment for a little while, or even a few days to weeks at a time, you're still going to be all right. We really have to consciously do things that go against our own inner voice, things that we know are wrong, things that just don't feel right or good in order for the universe to really step in. It takes a lot of build-up for the universe to get in the middle of things and say enough is enough. So you don't have to worry too much about the repercussions of falling out of alignment. You really have to be doing it intentionally before you're going to get the universe's attention. It's used to us stepping in and out of alignment all the time. But your main takeaway here should be to understand that when you start to change, those old energies that you used to entertain need time to dissipate from your life. And some of these energies may even fight back. This is the type of resistance that keeps people from even trying to change at all. You have to be prepared for the discomfort. You have to understand that you've been racking up this energy for your whole entire life. And as you begin to change and you go through the unearthing process, this energy is going to kind of wake up and try to make itself relevant again. Like I said in my last video, the best thing you can do is to just keep going. Keep healing, keep growing, keep expanding, keep working with your inner being, keep really listening to and trusting yourself. The human experience really is all about falling in and out of alignment and finding our way back to our source of power within ourselves, the same source of the all. In this process, you have the freedom to shape your reality and in turn be shaped by it. Sculpt wisely. That's all I have for this one. Thank you so much for joining me, and make sure to like and subscribe so that I can help you keep your third eye in the sky. Blessed be.